Welcome to where we discuss what's really going on in British politics. Water. Without it, we die. Humans are 70% water. We are instructed to drink 8 cups a day. It's inarguable that water is vital and essential to human life. It is not something that should be tainted by something as cold and inhuman as the profit motive. Yet in England, it has been. In 1989, Margaret Thatcher sold off our water companies, as well as every other service we need to live, to greedy and immoral would-be barons, with the assurance that bills would be cheaper and investment will increase. And what has this privatization of one of life's essentials led to? Well, it's led to 32 private water firms awarding themselves 72 billion in dividends, which is more than half of the investment of 123 billion they did invest in water infrastructure. This is 72 billion pounds that could have been invested into keeping bills down. Instead, bills have increased by 40%, and that is despite them taking out 56 billion pounds worth of debt. Now, 132 billion pounds in 30 years may sound like a lot, but Scottish Water, which is owned by the people, has spent 35% more per capita while keeping bills much lower. Also, how many reservoirs have been built in the past 30 years by these 32 firms? 0. None. Zilch. In fact, the number of reservoirs in this country has gone down. They sold the ones they had for a quick profit. The Environmental Agency covers 8 areas, 4 of which are now in a drought, with 2 more expected to join before the year is out. The National Drought Group, a body of experts in charge of drought response, have now told us this is challenging Britain's food security, with half of the potato crop expected to fail due to lack of irrigation. Yes, we are running out of irrigation options for our food, but at least the water oligarchs got to buy that nice third holiday home in Miami. Here is a list of food crops expected to fall by 10 to 50%. Carrots, sugar, beets, apples, hops, even milk, as cows are running out of food. Add this with the potato harvest potentially failing. This is painting a bleak picture for 2023, except for the water barons, of course. Despite being warned for decades, they ignored the signs to pocket the profits for themselves. They sold off our infrastructure and failed to repair it. This is neoliberalism at its core. Profit is number one. Don't plan ahead. Let the market take care of it. Trust in the mighty market. It's not an economic practice, it's an economic religion, and it isn't working. Cut expenses at all costs to pocket the difference. The reason they love it is because that is the end goal. They get richer while we suffer. You see, your suffering is literally their gain. It's their business model. Material wealth and moral bankruptcy. Margaret would be proud. Now, I wish this was the worst of it, but the depths the oligarch, conservative donor barons will sink to make profit knows no bounds. We've covered the aggressive and contemptible negligence of investment in reservoirs. Now it's time to cover leakage. Now, to keep their mistresses in the latest designs from Gucci, Thames Water neglected to repair and invest in their infrastructure and now leaks 635 million litres of water per day from their creaking, badly maintained, underinvested pipes. That's enough water to supply almost 4.5 million people every day, half the population of London. That's water robbed from our rivers and our streams and wasted. That's not all. United Utilities couldn't afford yacht crew salaries without neglecting their infrastructure to the point that it leaks 438 million litres of water per day from their creaking, badly maintained, underinvested pipes. That's enough water to supply 3 million people, more than the entire population of Manchester. Water that's robbed from our rivers and wasted. In total, water barons leak 3.1 billion litres of water per day. That's enough to supply almost 22 million people with their daily water needs, if we average that to be 142 litres per person. That is a third of the country. All of this while they tell you to cool down with damp towels rather than shower, and impose hose pipe bans encouraging neighbours to turn on neighbour for filling up paddling pools for their children to enjoy the heat. Remember the Tory creed. Your suffering is their gain. Now, I wish this is where the story ends, but the conservative greed is a story that keeps on going There is no end. Even Mother Earth and climate change is struggling to do that itself. So yes, this gets worse, much worse. Water companies, in a bid to cut costs, discharged raw sewage into the English rivers over 375,000 times in 2021. They have been doing this for years. Literally years. This has led to some of the worst water quality in the whole of Europe and has been responsible for polio in kids in London. These barons should be in prison for this, but Thatcher's legacy lives on. Instead, giving kids polio means massive bonuses and record dividends. In stark contrast, nationalised Scottish water is some of the best water in Europe, with not one penny going to corporate fat cats, something that neoliberals tell the working class is impossible. The media supports them. When Corbyn suggested the idea of nationalising in 2019, the media told us it was a bad idea. Which reminds me, the UK ranks only 24th in press freedom. 24th. Think about that. Ignorance is their biggest weapon. They do their best to keep you confused, to suppress critical thoughts, and that's why I started this channel. To give you the facts, to make you angry enough to act. There is something that you can do. Go to weSayEnough.co.uk and sign up. Thank you. If you made it this far, I appreciate it. I'll be posting regularly on what our politicians are up to, so please do subscribe and click the bell if you'd like to be notified of the next cock up.